A scion of many worlds. The cheer when he arrives through the portal to the Aridus Valley makes him pause and blink. All right, I know I've got no claim to it, but goodbye subtlety. The hell about your gigantic furry butt is subtle, Magrica asks. Even when you were normal-sized for an Earthani, you were about as subtle as a rock to the face. Hey, Jasper protests lightly. He starts moving despite the cheering and looks around. The valley was a quiet place when he first arrived. Even with the bustle of the harvest and then burning in preparation for next year's planting, it had been fairly quiet. Now, though, there is music and conversation everywhere. The student population is 10 times what it used to be. Its standing army had gone from a few guards with mostly ceremonial roles and no training into one of the most dangerous fighting forces on the world. There is noise and movement and life in the formerly sleepy valley. He really did it. I thought that was just... He hears some say as he moves towards the main building. The whispers are building behind him. Great. It's going to take a lot of work to unravel the ball of snakes that his rapid movement on the world and sheer effort has caused. He doesn't regret anything he's done, but this is a consequence he can do without. No bowing, please, he says as he ducks into the main building. He wraps axiom around his claws so as to blunt them. There's still a clicking sound with every step he takes, but at least he's not gouging holes into the floor. There is a yelp of surprise, and he smiles down at the Sister of the Order. "Hello, Sister. How are things?" And the woman is off like a shot. He sighs in frustration. Not liking the fame, Magrica teases. "It is going to be so damn hard to get someone to speak straight with me," Jasper moans. Poor Muthi god. "Oh, don't you start. You know I'm not a god." "Course not. A god would be harder to make fun of," she says happily. "You are the definition of a mixed blessing." He snips. "What's that human word? Hallelujah?" Magrica asks. "How do you even know that word?" "What? You think I haven't been having fun with the communicators all over the place? They've got this program thing that makes them read out entire books to you. It makes great background noise no matter what you're doing. Even better, someone wrote the book on mocking humans. It's great. A book on how to mock humans. You do realize that it's most likely something a human wrote just for entertainment, right?" Jasper asks, as he sees more people move out of his way. Thankfully, there's no fear, but the deferential awe is going to get very old in a hurry. There is a scream of frustration, and he sees Zava stomping out of a nearby door from one of the study halls. "Duty calls," Jasper notes to himself as he starts walking up to the fuming teenager. She turns only when he's close enough to loom over her. She takes a step back and looks him up and down. She then stomps and glares up at him with her arms crossed. "And what have I done now?" "Your mother." "Yes?" "She says I'm sick, that my blood is sick and prone to failure." That's universal on Lacrin. Everyone born on this world has been slowly weakened. The grand midwives do good work, but their limited tools have meant they've been trying to keep something actively dying alive. "I am not sick." "In what way has Mother said you're sick?" Jasper asks gently. "Something about being prone to life itself running rampant or that my eyes will fail. It's nonsense. I am in the pinnacle of health." Zava protests and Jasper sighs. So a genetic propensity to both cancer and vision loss. Wonderful. "Did she say these problems were unfixable?" "No, but that's not the point." "Then what is the point? Please tell me, because I grew up with my mother and I honestly don't see a problem." Jasper asks, and she just glares up at him, so he kneels down to merely loom somewhat over her rather than tower over the poor girl like a tree with weapons. "The problem is that she did something to me without even asking and then said I was horribly sick," Zava protests, and Jasper thinks. "What happened to your fur and claws and antenna?" "I alloyed myself with metal in tune with numerous other properties to become a living weapon against my opponent. Things got weirder, and now..." I'm a primal Earthani, as best I can tell. A primal Earthani? Zavaya asks. Yes. Is that the same as how the immortal Empress of the Serpent Empire is apparently a primal Nagasha? Yes. A primal of a species is the best of a species with some extra perks. In a primal Nagasha, it can be seen in the hood they can flare out and how they can shed their injuries, skin, or even body parts in their immortality methods. But there's only one kind of Earthani, two now with you, Zavaya remarks slowly. I may have created a few more types. How? I'm not completely sure. The last time a primal emerged was over 15,000 years, and it's only happened once with the Nagasha. This was before they were brought into the galactic community, and before truly meticulous record-taking, so no one really knows. Although I do recall hearing once that apparently the original primal Nagasha is still alive. There's someone 15,000 years old. I think so. I saw her. I was beyond for a time. I pushed, I defined myself and redefined myself and grew greater. I saw her do the same. I saw who would come next as well. If you want me to call you a god, then you're going to be really disappointed. Zavaya grumps up at him and he sweeps her into a hug. Ah, thank you, sweetie. I've had so many already starting that silliness. No, I'm no god, just a man. With effort, time, and experience, there's nothing I've done that you can't do. Let me go, you oversized freak, Zavaya protests as he stands up with her. Magrika cannot speak for the laughter and he swings back and forth a bit. Aw, can't I give my little girl a hug now and then? He teases. Little, I'm not. I wouldn't look small if you weren't so freakishly big. Let me go, Zavaya shouts. Fine, Jasper says, opening up his arms with a smile and twisting the axiom so she drops slowly and safely. Zavaya huffs a bit for a few moments and he puts a claw on her head as he kneels back down. I'll speak to my mother. She may have the best of intentions, but it wasn't right of her to scan you without your permission or knowledge. In most places it's illegal, something I'm going to push for here on Lakran as well. Why don't you just do it? You've conquered the world, haven't you? Even if I had conquered every single city and state on the planet, which I haven't, most are just friendly or allied politically to me. I would still have to consider many things before making laws willy-nilly. Even absolute authorities ultimately answer to the people. In the end, all rulers answer to their people. I never did. You weren't on that throne for long, which is putting aside the much harsher truth, Jasper says as he pulls his claw away and lets her glare, sulk up at him freely. You were not the ruler, just their puppet. Do you have to keep telling me that? She asks bitterly. That she isn't denying it is a good sign. I'm afraid I do, so long as you keep having such a rosy view of your own imprisonment and manipulation. I have to keep washing it away so you can see clearly. I was happier then. Ignorance can be bliss, but it can never lead you to a better day, Jasper says silently. Oh? And what hard truths are there about your life? It looks pretty perfect from my angle. You're getting everything you want and I'm just stuck, she states. Do you have any idea how much work I've not only already put in, but how much more is coming? The initial danger may have passed, but there's going to be so much more pain and sorrow on the way that I honestly dread what comes next. What do you mean? Aren't you winning? The only thing worse than victory is defeat. And sometimes, victory is still worse. I've tamed Lakron for the moment. Now I have to heal it, defend it, teach it, guide and guard it. To make matters worse, due to Lakran having so many unique features, unique cultures, and so much value, there will be so many claimants that I could spare some time by simply considering them endless, even though many of those claimants wouldn't even imagine helping out if the infrastructure I'm soon to get building wasn't about to go up. There are usurpers coming? Of course, this is a world where death itself can be beaten back. That's a value beyond any material wealth. A mountain of gold is a pittance compared to such power. The only way to stop literally endless armies from descending upon Lacrin to place it in chains is if we can find some way to replicate the power elsewhere. Otherwise, there will never be peace again. You've brought hordes of monsters to us? Don't be absurd. These are worse than monsters. These are people who believe they are right. A monster is merely a powerful animal. A person is capable of benevolence, and with the belief that what they're doing is right, they can do anything, Jasper says. I noticed. Zava snarks up at him. I'm glad. Now, do you want to be there when I speak with my mother about her scanning you, or do we have something else we need to talk about first? Jasper asks. Are there any other changes beyond the huge amount of antenna and the weird bits in your fur and claws? Zava asks, and Jasper nods. What? He slowly unfurls his upper left wing and unfolds it. There are slight patterns in the fur, some vaguely darker shapes and patterns in the wing itself. Zava swallows her first reaction and forcibly calms herself down to try and fail to look unimpressed. Anything else? Yes, give me a moment, he says, folding and furling his wing back up to tuck under his cape. He stands up and then snaps out his proboscis well over her head. It's huge, she exclaims before she can stop herself, and Jasper retracts the tongue/straw/spear/mouth and chuckles. Yes, I think that the wings, claws, antenna, attitude, and that spear will all become the traits of different new earthany species. Attitude? Yes, I have a lot of internal things that most Earthani don't have. They also make me a lot braver and more audacious than any Earthani can be without training. So did you always have those? Not always, but you've never met me without them, Jasper answers. Now anything more? I've been picking up something odd on my communicator, she says, and Jasper frowns. Odd? Odd how? He asks, and she pulls out her communicator. She presses a browsing app and there's a lot of static, but there's also a smattering of a clear language. It's not galactic trade, though. The relief fleet is getting closer. I should have seen this coming. What's happening is that as help gets closer, we're being connected to the galaxy at large more and more. They're bringing at least one communication pylon, which will open communication up entirely. I think this is Giloma, a language spoken by some aka polities, aka fish people. There are none on Lacran. This language is designed to work underwater, which is why it sounds so weird. It doesn't act right in the air, but even if you were to stick the communicator underwater, it still wouldn't make sense, but you would understand one or two words. How? I've never even heard of Galama before. This language is older than galactic trade, and a few of its tricks were incorporated in. Not many, though. So it's almost all gibberish, but you'll understand maybe the occasional a or the. Make sense? I think so, she says, taking back her communicator and giving it an odd look. Look, little lady, I know you're still pretty unsure about me. I know a big part of you resents me a lot, and you see your occasional bits of rebelling as just the right and smart thing to do. But I do have a question. What? Are you unhappy? He asks, and she looks at him oddly. It's like you said. I'm not a god. I need to know if I need to do better as your guardian and guide. You might not want to call me father, but I've chosen to act as such anyways. This means I'm on your side. But am I doing it right? Are you unhappy? She just stares up at him, not answering the question and looking rather lost. He picks her up into his arms and stands up fully. How about I give you a lift until you have an answer?